Welcome. You are in the lab room. I'm your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me. Recapping week number 7 in the National Football League. Green Bay Packers hosting the Cleveland Browns in one of those ho-hum games that go under the radar. I didn't need the big board for this one. This one was pretty self-explanatory. Packers were dominant in this game and not in the way that you expect them to be. This is a different Packers team, and I'll explain myself as we work our way down in this game. But let me start with the Cleveland Browns. And I know I've said this enough already, and I hate to continue to just beat a dead horse, but I feel so bad for Cleveland Browns fans because this season was supposed to be different. And I don't know what the expectations were going into the year. Look, Brandon Weeden is a guy that is wildly inconsistent, and he turns the football over, and you've seen that this year once again, and he's not the guy in Cleveland. And I used to go to bat for him, and I used to say, hey, just give the guy a chance, okay? Give him a chance, see what he can do. And North Turner is coming in. Anything he touches turns to gold at the quarterback position. Give this guy a shot. No, no, no. He's not good. He's erratic. He's inconsistent. He turns the football over. He makes bad decisions. And you got away from all of that. You had a ray of hope. His name was Brian Hoyer. Billy Ho was your chance this year. And this, I've said this a couple of times, and again, I hate to drive this point home, but the AFC North was wide open. The Steelers were bad early on in the season. The Ravens are inconsistent. The Cincinnati Bengals had struggles on the road. You had an opportunity to put pressure on the Bengals in this division. Everyone was 3-3 except for the Steelers at one point in the season. And Brian Hoyer went down. Everything changed. And so this type of game here on the road against a good football team in the Green Bay Packers, this is when you realize, and maybe you realized it to a certain extent against Detroit, but you were in that football game. This is when you realize that you have to have a quarterback that is good. Not okay, not marginal like Brandon Weeden is, but good. You have to have a quarterback that can make plays, that can create something when nothing's there. These are the type of games where you realize in order for us to take that next step as a franchise, we need a quarterback, a signal caller. And of course, everyone knows that. But it's one thing to know it in your mind, but it's another thing to actually see it unfolding on the field and know, hey, man, we need a quarterback. And in this type of game, in this type of setting, against the Green Bay Packers, on the road, good football team, Aaron Rodgers, and what they're able to do in Green Bay, you need your quarterback to step up and play a good football game. And he did anything but in this game, and it started from the beginning. I mean, this guy was air-mailing throws. I mean, how many passes in this game did Brandon Weeden throw that was 6 yards over the head of his intended target? I can't even keep up with the number because it was such a large number of his passes. Such a large percentage of the throws that he had in this game were just errant. And he was 17 of 43 in this game. I mean, that's a terrible percentage in terms of completion percentage. Forget about 50%. This guy is sniffing around the 30s with that kind of percentage. He's somewhere in the 40s with that, but it's low 40s. You can't be that bad at the quarterback position and expect to give your team a chance to win. And he throws an egregious pick in this game. Have we not learned anything from the flip a week ago? Apparently not. He didn't get the memo when the crowd booed him so vigorously that he had to put in earphones in his ear to drown out the noise. Apparently he didn't get the memo that the flip isn't cool because he did it again in this game. Luckily, this time it wasn't picked off, and so I just don't know where the disconnect is with Brandon Weeden and why he doesn't understand it. There's certain things you can't do with the football, and turning it over and making irrational decisions are things you can't do. And so he was bad in this game. We know the Browns lack a running game. This was before they traded Trent Richardson. The running game hasn't been stable in Cleveland. And it's just frustrating because this team has talent. And I say this all the time. I said it all year last year. This is a talented football team. I could sit here and list all the guys that I believe are extremely talented on this team, but I've done that too many times. I don't need to go there again. This is a talented football team, both offensively and defensively. Don't allow the bad play of the quarterback to fool you into thinking that this is a bad Browns football team. This is a bad Browns quarterbacking situation that's going to hold this team back, unfortunately, and you saw it in this game. Let's talk about the Green Bay Packers because honestly, that's where it's at here in this football game. The Packers are depleted by injury. No Clay Matthews, no James Jones. They have been decimated by injuries this season. And when you look at what they were able to do in this game, it never ceases to amaze me how they're able to get things done despite having guys not in the lineup. And it just goes back to the Packers and how they run their organization and the depth that they possess and how they get guys, they draft them, and they coach them up and they get them to play productive football for the Green Bay Packers. And so it showed again in this game. And this Packers team is changing right before our eyes. This was once a team that couldn't run the ball to save their life. Now they're running the football and they're balanced on offense. They don't have to score 45 points to outduel someone now. If they get a lead, if they get up 17-3 in the third quarter, they can start moving the football down the field, put points up, and eat up clock at the same time. It doesn't have to be Aaron Rodgers dropping back and throwing the football 37 times in order for them to achieve a victory. They don't have to throw to run out the clock anymore. They're a balanced outfit now. And so they're a dangerous team, are the Green Bay Packers, because they can do something that they couldn't do in the past. Run the football. They're playing better defense now. And all of these things go hand in hand. When you can run the football, that's an attitude. Running the football is an attitude. And it gives the defense a chance to catch their breath. If you go out there on the field and you're just throwing a football, and this is a quick strike offense, has been in the past, it's not as much now. But if you're scoring quickly, it works both ways. Yeah, it's great. You're putting up points. It looks good. It feels good. But you're putting the defense back on the field quickly. And with them running the football, even if you go out on the field and you run the football twice and then you throw it once, what you're doing is you're still giving your defense a chance to catch itself. And so it's a different Green Bay Packers football team. No Randall Cobb in this game. No James Jones, as I already mentioned. So you need guys to step up. And Jared Boykins was the guy that they pegged as the next guy that was in the lineage of Packer receivers that needed to step up. And that's exactly what he did in this game. You still got Jordy Nelson. You get Boykins to step up. You use Jeremichael Finley as that wild card, a guy that you put in the slot as a tight end, but also can flank out wide as a receiver, and they did that in this game. He unfortunately went down in this game to a concussion, ended up going to the hospital, has movements in all of his extremities, and so he'll be okay. Good to know that he's fine in that regard, but he took a vicious shot, was down for a while. They had to bring the stretcher out. Was not a pretty sight, so hopefully he'll be okay, but he scored a touchdown before he left the game. So did Jordy Nelson. So did Jared Boykins. Eddie Lacy gets in the end zone on the ground. Packers amass well over 300 yards, close to 400 yards of total offense. They scored 31 points. The Browns had opportunities in this game, but again, Brandon Weeden just isn't getting it done. And they're dominated are the Cleveland Browns in this game. 31-13. Packers win again. And now they're starting to gain their footing in this season. After that loss to Cincinnati on the road and they had their bye week, they did some soul searching. They came back and they've won 3 consecutive games since their bye week. Now they stand at 4-2. And now, don't look now, the Green Bay Packers are now in first place. Go figure. They start the season off sluggish. Bears run off to a 4-2 start. Lions run out to a 4-2 start. But the Packers quietly just kept chipping away, chipping away, chipping away, and now they're 4-2 and in sole possession of first place in the NFC North division. So Packers get it done at home, look really good, and I said this is a different team now. My friend, I was talking to a buddy of mine, and he said, hey, Packers could have scored 40 points in this game. And I said, I don't know about that. I don't know if this Packers team is that type of team anymore. With all the weapons that are down right now for the Packers, I don't know if they can put up 40 points. I don't know if they want to put up 40 points anymore. I don't know if they feel like that's the winning recipe, if that's the winning blueprint anymore. They might feel like, hey, 31 points and a solid defense and a solid run game to boot is what we need to win versus 45, no run game, and a defense that's leaky that's giving up 38. I think they'll take 31, good defense, good running game every day of the week. And I think that's what they've evolved to over time because what you realize is when you get into the postseason, hey, you can do all of the passing you like. You get into the postseason, you got to be able to slow it down and run the football. It's just like basketball. In the postseason, every possession matters. Got to be able to play half-court defense. Got to be able to run half-court offense in the NBA when you get into the postseason. Same thing in the NFL. You get into the postseason, you got to be able to play some defense. You got to be able to stop teams from scoring points, and you got to be able to run the football. You got to be able to get a lead and squat on that lead and not take your foot off the gas pedal per se, but be able to milk the clock and gain first downs and eat up time and score points in the process while still securing your lead. And the Packers are evolving into that type of football team. They get it done here in convincing fashion. And again, this game wasn't pretty. They weren't blowing the Cleveland Browns out for the entirety of this game, but it was a nice, reasonable distance between them and the Cleveland Browns all game. It was about 17-6 for a good portion of this game. They stretched out the lead late in the ball game, and so they had control of this game from start to finish. Packers get it done 31-13, take the record to 4-2. Browns drop this game, and again, I feel so bad for Cleveland Brown fans. I can't state that enough because you were right there. You were 3-2 when Billy Ho went down. And you've lost 2 consecutive games. I don't see you winning many more games this season. That's the unfortunate part about this whole situation. You don't have anyone else to turn to. It's Jason Campbell or it's Brandon Weeden, and both of those options suck. And so you're stuck between a rock and a hard place in this season. There's hope for the future because you'll have a high enough draft pick to get a quarterback of your liking in this upcoming draft. There will be several quarterbacks that can help you out, but who's talking about the draft right now? Only bad teams talk about the draft right now, and you probably fit into that category, but it's too early to start looking forward to the 2014 NFL draft. We're only in week number 7, going into week number 8, so there's still a lot of football to be played, and so no one really wants to talk draft right now unless you're a really bad team. I can't sit here and bring myself to talk about the draft right now, but that's what you've been reduced to after starting 3-2. You've been reduced to looking to the future when there's still a lot of football to be played this season, and that's unfortunate. So that's going to do it for me here in the lab room as I continue to break down week number 7. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the lab room. Thank you for joining me. See you on Tuesday as I continue to break down the National Football League.